Hey y'all, I'm Ster98. Welcome back to another 0K video. This is going to be a pair of 1 versus 1s that were played between Hjkia and Fahx in July. So, this first game on the map, Living Lands, we've got Hjkia going with his engineer commander, ZZZ, and Spider Factory, default blueprint of Venom, and his opponent in the bottom left. It's Fahx with the heavy Fahx machine, engineer commander, and jump bot factory, and placeholder blueprint. Placeholder, interesting blueprint. The thing about placeholder, I don't really like placeholder blueprint because you only really need like one of them. They're not something that you need to mass produce in the field, so yeah. This replay was also spectated live by Past Stewart, so Past Stewart cameo in the spectator chat. Hjkia with her Weaver out early, getting that early reclaim. Fahx a bit slower, getting it with the Constable. Constable also with significantly less build power. So that's going to take quite a bit longer for Fahx to get that medal than it did for Hjkia. Pyro coming in, getting stun locked. One Pyro beats one Venom if you micro it correctly with the jumping it out before it gets stun locked. However, if it gets stun locked, then it's just dead and you're down 220 metal. Not for nothing, that did put a lot of damage onto that Venom. Hjkia is repairing it, however, Hjkia is going to enter into an energy stall because of that and could access a bit. Fahx moving in with the heavy Fahx machine. Another Pyro. 3 Venoms on the field for Hjkia, now 4. That Pyro. Okay, that Metal Extractor is dead. This one needs to be careful not to get stun locked like the last Pyro did. Fahx with a big eco lead right now. Part of that is still coming from this Constable reclaim. We're going to have a very interesting engagement in this mid here. Fahx moving in on Hjkia's commander, but Fahx's commander about to be stun locked by these Pyros. Pyros from Fahx switching targets to Hjkia's commander. Hjkia's commander taking massive damage. Both commanders going down there. Hjkia definitely should have focused down the Pyros burst. Now Hjkia has only 8 energy income, is working on fixing that, and is getting a good win cycle. But 10 energy income, 12 metal income, to 17 metal income for Fahx. This is a really tough game for Hjkia. Yeah. Pyro has a very unique weapon, just like a disintegrator, and Hjkia giving up there. So Pyro flamethrower, just like a disintegrator gun, it deals damage for each frame that it passes through an enemy. So the larger the hitbox, the more damage it does. So that's why Pyros deal so much damage to factories. They make great commander assassins. 2 Pyros taking down Hjkia's commander so quickly. Hjkia focused entirely on taking down Fahx's commander, underestimated the threat of those Pyros, lost their commander, and lost the game because of that. So, very quick 4-minute game there. Let's move on to game 2, which will not be nearly so brief. And here we have the second game I'll be covering today between Fahx and Hjkia. This is a match on the map Inculta V2 between Hjkia in the bottom right, going with Tank Foundry and Engineer Commander. No, ZZZ. I don't. What is the difference between these two? What's the difference between ZZZZ and no ZZZZZZZZ? I don't know. Anyway, does have Kodachi Blueprint, and Hjkia's opponent Fahx with Heavy Fahx Machine, Hovercraft Factory, and Blueprint is Claymore. It's interesting. I have Mace set on mine. You also see Scalpel a fair amount. Claymore's kind of a weird choice for Blueprint. Not nearly as much range as Mace. It also is slightly faster than Mace, I believe. Let's see. Mace is 61.5 Almos. Claymore is 78.5. So yeah. I only get Claymore Blueprint. I guess if you do see a big raider ball, Claymore is going to come up faster than Mace, and will clean up like a big pack of glaives more effectively. But also, so would a Stardust. So, I don't know. Interesting. Hjkia moving in with 2 Kodachi. Does also have a con expanding. Going rather solar heavy. Well, why would you surround that much with 3? Don't do that. Put solars near all the mexes. Of course, Fahx not going for any overdrive at all on the metal. Well, both these players with kind of weird solar distribution. 2 on this metal extractor, but none on these. Random wind on that hill, sure. It's Kodachi. Can't move in because of the Lotus. Is now going to get chased down by a Bolus. Hjkia is paying attention, so should evade the Bolus. Bolus kind of sucks. It's more expensive than Kodachi, 180 versus 170. And if it tries to chase a Kodachi, then it just dies. Because it will never catch up. And it will take a lot of ground burn damage. 2 Kodachis moving in on this Lotus. Won't kill the Lotus. 1 Kodachi going down. Dagger goes down, but the Lotus stays up. Fahx the clear winner in that fight. Yeah, Hjkia did the frontline factory placement, whereas Fahx has his factory in the back. I think I do prefer Hjkia's placement. It does require a bit of walking, but... Oh, Bolus. Okay, Bolus does kill 1 Kodachi. However, the second one isn't slowed enough for the second Bolus to catch up to it. Quill, being followed by 2 daggers and a Bolus, is safe from that Kodachi. Bolus kind of in the wrong position, though. Oh, dagger goes down. Not sure where that second one didn't fire. I think it had enough time to reload. That's a little weird. Oh, that dagger's dead. Yeah. Don't like moving those daggers in. These 3 daggers just sitting here. Getting attrition. They're on hold position. And this blitz is out of range of them. Gotta be really careful if you're leaving your units on hold position. I mean, you need to be careful you have your units on maneuver as well. But you don't... It just sucks when units get picked off by something out of range without moving to do something about that. Because you're looking elsewhere. 3 Kodachi moving in on this Quill. Definitely not enough stuff to protect it. However, one Kodachi does go down to its own ground burn there. Quill gets away. Bolus moving in time to clean up the remaining 2 Kodachi. Commander and 3 Bolus. This Bolus needs to pull back. Dies for no reason there. Could have easily fallen back and been repaired by the commander. 1 Bolus for 1 Kodachi is a slightly negative trade. This solar still up. Quill continuing to expand. Hjkia only expanding with 1 constructor at this time, while Fahx expanding with 4. Fahx actually skipped a couple metal extractors with his commander. That's interesting. That's a little weird. Ogre moving in, and there is nothing to take it down. This is enough Bolus to just surround it. Is only 1 Bolus going to go down? Yes! No, 2 Bolus go down. Even so. That's a pretty good trade for Fahx. That Kodachi doesn't go down to its own ground burn. There it goes down. 3 maxes cleaned up. Kodachi, nearly going down to their ground burn again, killing that Quill. Gotta be really careful that you don't kill your own Kodachis there. Should get that metal extractor. Will they get... So that's 5 metal extractors. I don't think they'll get a 6th. This Bolus is falling back. More ogres moving in. What does Fahx respond with? He responds with Scalpel. Good option. I would prefer Mace in that situation because Mace beat Ogre and they beat Kodachi and Blitz. The Blitz and Kodachi versus Scalpel matchup is a little weird. We'll see if we get a demonstration here, or if this Kodachi just gets picked off. Yeah, Hjkia not paying attention. Kodachi goes down to the Scalpel. Oh, there was a Mace, but it wasn't microed. So it just ran right in and died. That's an indictment of Fahx's micro. That is not an indictment of Mace as a unit. If you right-click move Scalpels into Ogres, then they die too. So. Oh, that was a 1 metal Lotus Nanoframe? I wasn't even aware that you could stop a Nanoframe after just 1 metal. That's... Huh. Three Lotus, not enough to stop 4 Ogres and 2 Blitzes and a Kodachi. These 2 Quills getting stun locked in Lotus range. Fahx isn't paying attention. They're probably both going to die to the Lotus. Yeah. Ogre takes down a Bolus, but does go down to the Scalpel. Here, Squill does manage to get away, but this expansion is lost. Even so, Fahx been expanding at a higher rate than Hjkia, so even with all that rating, still has same size economy as Hjkia and will recover to having a greater sized economy soon enough, I imagine. Especially because all of the battles have been happening on Fahx's side of the map. All of the reclaim is Fahx's to take right now. If you just move into the scalpels with your blitzes, you can avoid taking a lot of damage. There we saw a rocket just barely fall short of the blitz, so it did some damage, but it should have killed the blitz, and it didn't. The blitz does go down to a bolus. Yeah. Mace is coming out now, which is what I like to see. You also see that Claymore blueprint being used. Mace beats Ogre. Claymore does not, so that's another issue with Claymore as your blueprint. Oh, that's Fahx's commander, right? Blitz taken down. Bolus taking down that radar, but there was redundancy. I'm not sure if Fahx spotted the second radar. He probably did. Probably also wasn't paying enough attention. Minotaur out now. I don't really love Minotaur versus Hover. I don't. It's just a rough matchup overall. Hover versus Tank. Or, well, Tank versus Hover. It's Tank that struggles. Yeah, so that Lotus covers the mechs. Yeah, covers the mechs. Mace isolated will die to these blitzes, but will take down one. Gotta charge the Stinger. Oh, the Stinger didn't get all of its shots in. Scalpel lived with 22 HP. And the Mace is still alive. Does it kill the Blitz? Yes! 3 Ogres moving in up top. Second fusion coming out from Fahx. Hjkia, not with any fusions yet. Just been doing solar gridding. And does have more energy for the moment, though that is about to change. Fahx taking a slight lead in energy production now. And making tons of... No, actually making about as much from Overdrive, which makes sense. Fahx has so many ungridded metal extractors. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 ungridded metal extractors. That one only just barely getting connected to the grid. Hjkia, I think, has only gridded metal extractors. Okay, these two are supposed to be gridded, but they're not. Same with this one. Commander from Fahx getting cornered by Minotaurs, but with the boluses. Fahx saying that when he just took a really good engage. Oh, that commander was a little more damaged than friendly fire from the scalpel would have killed it. Commander needs to get out of there, because... Oh, it needs to, but it's not. Commander should have lived, but won't live. 1 Minotaur volley? Yeah, 1 Minotaur volley is enough. But Fahx tearing through Hjkia's northern expansion now. 4 metal extractors down. That Phoenix forced to bomb a single Scalpel, but Scalpel's wasting their shots on a Phoenix that they have no hope of catching up with. Scalpel there suiciding into the Ogres. Hjkia is doing a lot of raiding with little balls of units that are hard for Fahx to counter. Fahx still not getting up a storage, queuing a plate and then a storage now. Also has a flail out, but flail moving to the front of the line. Will it kill this Phoenix? No. Yeah. Fahx doing a lot of regular moves and not attack moves, and losing a lot of units for it. That's, yeah. I don't love that when you're using a lot of units that have range advantage. Scalpels, mace, fight move is the way to go. Minotaur not going down. Yeah, maybe Claymore would be really good. Because Claymore would be so effective against these balls of raiders that Hjkia keeps deploying. Yeah, Hjkia also using a plate. Build queue from Hjkia about to run out. Fahx not using infinite build on the plate, is using it on the factory. Fahx still not remixing this area up here. So, Hjkia, well, it's pretty moment to moment which player is making more metal. Looks like Hjkia is making a bit more, but yeah. So Fahx still ahead in metal produced and metal used, but Hjkia catching up, and 2,000 metal accessed by Fahx. I think that might have been right when Fahx's commander went down. Must have had some metal in storage. That would only account for 500 of the 2,000 excess, but Scalpel not going to quite take down the ogre, but Mace finishes the job. Minotaur takes down a Stardust, but at the cost of another Minotaur. Wait. I hover... Okay, there's just Blitz Wreckage right underneath the Minotaur or something. That's weird. Fahx remixing now. Does have a couple of pickets being annoying. And Fahx making a Crow. I don't like Crow against tanks. I think that's a good way of throwing a game that you won. And by map control, Fahx is definitely ahead here. So I don't think you need to go for the Crow. Crow versus tanks, it takes a lot of damage from Ogre, from Minotaur, and it can't really catch up with Etten. Yeah. Scalpels just shouldn't shoot at bombers at all, I think. Because they just waste their volleys. Those volleys could have been used on these Minotaurs and Ogres. Careful with them. That was a little funky. The way that rocket landed on the Kodachi. How long until the Crow is ready? 8 seconds. I know. 1 Crow or 10 Mace? Which would you rather have? I would honestly take the Mace. One thing Fahx could get out Tridents? I don't think tridents are really necessary. Just need some more flails. Big ball units headed towards Fahx's base. Fahx should have an idea that this is the thing. Is he going for a base trade? What's happening here? He's pumping out maces and scalpels now. What do you do with the crow? Do you rush the base? Hjkia knows about it. Has 2 ends out. And 2 ends, it's surprising just how fast they stack up damage. 4 ends. 5 ends. Thing is that Fahx is just beelining Hjkia's base with the ground army. But his own base... Okay, Minotaur. That Minotaur should... dead pretty soon. Kind of feel like the best use of the crow would have just been defensive. Take out this army, and then you can just rush the base with ground. As it is, Fahx is getting the kill on these caretakers. Mace pulling back for no reason, not killing that last caretaker. Fahx's factory has gone down. Does still have the gunship plant, but that's not worth much. Yeah, ogres are still alive. Minotaurs are still alive. Is getting up a rover plant. I don't hate that. And Minotaur is finally going down. So, where do things stand now? Hjkia forced to access 3,000 metal there, but now up by 6k in total value. Army value advantage 3850 to 1190. That is brutal. Eco value. Fahx slightly ahead still. If he can recover quickly, then he's still in this game. Oh, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. White fencers. White fencers. You can make Ravagers. You can make Dominatrix. Both of those? Well, no. I would not go for Dominatrix because Hjkia already has the air plant and Phoenix make mincemeat out of Dominatrix. But Fencer? There's Minotaurs on the field. Fencers are not good against those. Hjkia setting up a proxy cloak factory. Glaives aren't actually... This is too hard of a point for Glaives to attack into, but they can go for the old base. I don't like it. I don't like the Glaive Witch. I don't think it was necessary. When it looked like Hjkia's tank foundry was going to go down, I guess it makes sense, but... Fahx has Blast Wings. He's not making Blast Wings. He's making Locusts. That's a mistake. Blast Wings into these Glaives? Absolutely brutal. What are you doing? Locust, not. Why? What are you looking to stun? Glaives? Kinda all cleaned up by Lotus. Yeah, I expected that to do more. Yeah. Fencers were a big mistake. I would have liked to see Mass Ravager. Did Fahx know about these 2 stingers? He had to have known about these 2 stingers. So these are going for Hjkia's commander, but... N is here. And the Glaives, just tearing through the Locusts. Such a mistake, such a mistake. Blast Wings are coming out now. Going to the wrong part of the battle. But, yeah, they're just getting ripped to shreds by the ends. You want the Blast Wings up here. And down here... Ripper's coming out now, but there actually aren't a whole lot of raiders left. It's Minotaur and Ogre, and Ripper's sucking against both. Dominatrix coming out. 3 plates. I mean, Fahx does have is making a lot of metal right now. And these are just doing nothing. What is the purpose of the gnats? What are you trying to do with them? Because stunning one picket while in range of another picket is most certainly not doing anything. Yeah, all the Rippers cleaned up by the Minotaurs. Still going for the Fencers. Fencer just not useful in this matchup this far into it when there's Minotaurs all over the place. And also Phoenix out and about. Yeah, this is what you need the Blast Wings for. Blast Wings would work wonders against this many glaives. But not what we're seeing. Yeah. Even an Impaler down here to kill these Stingers wouldn't be a bad idea. Certainly better than all the Fencers spam. Only one Impaler, though. I wouldn't make more than one. Blast Wings coming off the assembly line, but going into the wrong place. Glaives... I mean, at this point, this late into the game, the wind isn't very important. The unopposed Minotaurs about to slam into the back of Fahx's base are, on the other hand. There is still a fusion there. Yeah. This seems pretty over to me. Fahx just never able to recover army value after... Oh wow, the 149 health Minotaur. Thunderbird moving in, but... That's... Oh, just taking down the dummies. Yeah. That dummy dies to those blitzes, I suspect. Tries taking down the fusion. This is over. And just by looking at the graph, you can tell the point. Really, the army value graph says it all. Hjkia basically immediately recovered from the pseudo base trade, and Fahx did not. Yeah. Crow, the wrong decision. I think, like, 9 games out of 10, if you are facing tanks and you do a gunship switch, you are... Maybe it won't be a throw. Maybe you're ahead by enough that it won't be a throw. But it's not a good idea. Because Anna is just too strong. Cyclops out from Hjkia now. Back down to half Hjkia's eco. And resigns. So. Yeah. Think in that situation, I'd prefer to just focus on expanding ground army superiority. In fact, definitely could have done that. He had resources to deploy more maces all over the map. But going for the Crow did not work out and led to a nasty pseudo base trade that Fahx definitely got the worst end of. So, hope you all enjoyed that. I'm Stuart98. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.